Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Going over my cheat sheet for today's only main slate for today on DraftKings. Before I continue though, if you could leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. It really helps me out and I really appreciate it. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16. And I know if baseball is dying out, it's almost the end. NFL is starting tomorrow, but I still do MLB every day. I just don't do the videos every day because NFL is first priority. But I had time to do the video today, so here we are. So let's dive into today's slate. So I like Justin Verlander at 12,400, Jeff Hoffman at 5,100, and Yu Darvish at 10,700. So let's dive into the pitching sheet to see where I like the guys that I like. So up top, we have Justin Verlander at 12,400 coming off the no-hitter versus the Blue Jays. Do I expect another no-hitter? I do not, but I expect a very good game out of him versus the Seattle Mariners. He has been amazing this season. 3.31 xFIP, 35% strikeout rate, 4% walk rate. Now, I will say he does struggle with the fly balls and hard contact, but that's coming with some elite strikeout numbers, and just overall, he is outstanding. Maybe because of a solo shot. I'll live with it. I think he's the number one pitcher on the slate by far. Andrew Heaney should not be 11,500. And yeah, you have to play Verlander today, basically. He's going to be very chalky, and if he does anything, if he does 40 points and you don't have him, you're basically probably going to be dead today. Unless you want to pivot to Yu Darvish, and he has a really good game as well, and Verlander struggles. But I am looking to play Verlander in all formats. If you look at the Mariners splits versus righties, they own a 25.7% strikeout rate, 196 team ISO, which is actually a little bit up there. 316 WOBA, 100 WRC plus, but I do like the strikeout upside for Verlander. Should be in for a good game. And then let's drop all the way down to Jeff Hoffman at 5,100. Now, is he a very good pitcher? He is not. He has a 7.35 ERA, which is horrendous, second worst on the slate, but he has a 5.17 xFIP, which I know is not saying much. The thing I like about him is, though, he has a 22% strikeout rate, and let me turn that fan off. It's loud. I think that happens every video, right in the middle of the video. I never hear it on until I start the video. But yeah, 22% strikeout rate. I will take that versus the Padres, who strike out quite a bit versus righties. We do like righties versus San Diego. And we don't need much out of him. And with everyone playing Verlander, and there is good bats in this slate, we're going to need some salary savings somewhere. And I feel like Jeff Hoffman and Justin Verlander is the chalk way to go today. And if Hoffman gets you 5 points, I don't really think it's going to matter too much. As long as he gets positive points and doesn't pull Wade Miley where he gets negative 13, that would be outstanding for us. So if we look at the splits versus righties for the Padres, it's not very good. It's good for Jeff Hoffman, though. They own a 26.2% strikeout rate, 187 team ISO, 308 team WOBA, 89 WRC plus. It's a pretty good matchup for Hoffman. We're not in Coors Field, which is good, so decent park for pitching. Not the best pitcher's park, but it's not a hitter's park by any means. So I think Jeff Hoffman is a really good SP2 for today, just the way the slate works out. And then my second option would be Yu Darvish, who has been very, very good since the start of the season. He was not good at all, but he turned the corner. Great numbers so far, 3.74 xFIP, 28.9% strikeout rate, only a 30% hard contact rate, which is the second lowest on the slate, and that's with a small sample size of Austin Voth. So Yu Darvish is a nice GPP pivot off of Justin Verlander. I don't feel anywhere near as safe because he is facing the Brewers in Milwaukee, which is not a great park for pitching. But the Brewers do actually strike out a decent amount versus righties, and that's really just about it, though. It's not a great matchup or anything, but if you look at their splits versus righties, they are striking out at a 24.9% clip, which is actually kind of up there, but everything else is not that good. So I don't love Yu Darvish, but I think he's a fine tournament play. But I really want to play Verlander and Hoffman together because if you do the math on that, what is that about? 17,500 for your pitcher salary, which I think around 17 to 18K is where you want to be usually, depending on the slate. That's my opinion on pitching today. Let's get into the batters. So we have Wilson Contreras, 4,900 versus Gio Gonzalez, the lefty. We're in Milwaukee. Good park for hitting. The White Sox, the Cubs have quite a few good batters on their team that hit lefties very well. So I think this is a good matchup for the Cubbies. And actually, I forgot to put them on my stacks. I'm glad I realized that. And then we have Wilson Ramos, 4,300 versus Drew Smyly. Drew Smyly does have a decent strikeout percentage, but he does give up power to both sides of the plate. Wilson Ramos has a very low strikeout rate when it comes to facing lefties, so contact should be made. Maybe he puts one over the fence. Robinson Chirinos at 4K. I like the Astros stack today versus Kikuchi. They have one of the highest implied run totals of the slate, if not the highest. so I don't mind Chirinos, who has power. At first base, Paul Goldschmidt at 4,300 versus Stephen Brolt. I love this play today versus a lefty. Goldschmidt smashes lefties, and he's just too cheap at 4,300. I should have made him a core play, honestly, but just know I like him a lot. Matt Olson at 4,800 versus Jordan Zimmerman. Zimmerman sucks versus lefties, and a lower strikeout percentage, higher walk rate, higher contact percentage given up, higher ISO. So Matt Olson makes a ton of sense. Shohei Ohtani at 4,400 seems a little bit too cheap versus Dylan Covey. Angels are one of the top stacks on the slate for me. At second base, Jose Altuve, 5,100 versus the lefty in Kikuchi. Altuve is crushing lefties this season. One of the best players in the league versus lefties, like right up there with JD Martinez. So I do like Altuve. Rougned Odor, Nick Salak, both second basemen versus Aaron Brooks, who's not a very good pitcher, although he's had a decent game here and there recently, but still not a good park for pitching in Camden Yards. The Orioles bullpen's pretty bad. Don't mind these two guys. At third base, we have Alex Bregman, 5,300 versus the lefty Kikuchi. I said I love the Astros. Bregman crushes left-handed pitching, so he makes a lot of sense. Chris Bryant facing a lefty in Miller Park, 4,600. I like that play. Asdrubal Cabrera, 3,900. Projected about second versus Teheran, who in his career struggled versus lefties, so I don't mind that. But again, not my favorite play. I'd really like to get up to Bregman or Chris Bryant. At shortstop, we have Corey Seager at 4,300 versus Tyler Beede, who we do want to use lefties against. He actually has a somewhat decent strikeout percentage when it comes to righties, but everything dips against the lefties. He seems a little bit too cheap. And Frankie Lindor, 4,700, only because he's below the 5K range. Not in love with picking on Jake Odorizzi, but I don't mind the price here. Elvis Andrus, 4,500, just Rangers exposure versus Aaron Brooks. And actually, I should add the Rangers as a stack too, so let's do that. And then in the high-end outfield, we have Mike Trout, 5,700, who is the number one player on the day. Covey will struggle with righties and lefties, and Trout crushes White Sox pitching. I don't know what it is. Well, I guess the White Sox pitching isn't the best in the world. But 5,700, his price came way up. Yesterday it was at 4,900. It didn't really do much, but at 5,700, I still like him a lot versus Covey. We know how good Trout is. He is on fire, except for yesterday. And 5,700, I don't care really about the price. He's my top play of the slate. Cody Bellinger, lefty versus Tyler Beede. Very good lefty, I should say. Jock Peterson, 5,400. He's been pretty hot. And 5,400 leading off versus Beede. Don't mind that either. Mid-range outfield, we have quite a few good options here. A couple of Cubs. Nick Castellanos, 4,600, who's been crushing in the Cubs uniform. Facing a lefty, he crushes lefties. He's still a little bit mispriced in my opinion. I mean, he should be priced almost near 5K. So 4,600, I still think that's a pretty nice value. Chris Bryant, we already went over. Cole Calhoun, part of the Angel stack, lefty versus Covey. And then in the value outfield, we have Justin Upton at 4K. He's been hitting righties better this season, and Covey struggles with righties and lefties. Yasiel Puig, 3,700 versus Odorizzi. I think he's a little bit too cheap there. Chris Davis, 3,500 versus Jordan Zimmerman. Chris Davis in his career has been better versus righties this year, not so much, but still he's really cheap, and Zimmerman is not the best pitcher in the world. Seth Brown, 3,300, projected about fifth, lefty versus Jordan Zimmerman. And then Trent Grisham, if he's leading off, I don't mind him at 3,100 versus Darvish, but I really don't like picking on Darvish. Then the core plays and top stack for me are Justin Verlander, Jeff Hoffman combo. I like that a lot. And then Mike Trout at 5,700. And the top stacks for me are the Astros, the Dodgers, the Angels, then the A's, Cubs, and Rangers. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Remember to leave a like. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. And if you're excited for NFL tomorrow, I have a lot of NFL content out already, so I would recommend checking those out. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and I wish you guys the best of luck today.